What's up and welcome YouTube to a new episode of still unknown how exactly I'm gonna call the series. I asked Harrison for advice. He didn't answer me yet because Harrison always comes up with fantastic names. I was thinking maybe calling this one. Well, basically, I kind of want a name that sounds cool, but it has to include what the series is about, right? The series is about focusing on your fundamentals one at a time. So I thought maybe focus on fundamentals as a name for the series. It sounds kind of lame though. Then back to the basics, someone suggested, which I thought was an okay name. One that I actually asked ChatGPT. One that it gave me was SkillCraft, which I actually thought is awesome because I can just call it SkillCraft, and then I say mastering one skill at a time. Because what the series is about is basically I will teach you, or I'll try myself to focus on one thing per week. So we'll have like 6 or 7 episodes, or maybe sometimes 5, sometimes less, who knows, of me lettering and focusing on one specific thing. Because I want to teach you guys that this is actually the way of improving. If you're high stuck somewhere, if you feel like you're not really improving, just ignore everything else and try to get better at a very specific thing. And that's actually the key difference that I see at myself. For example, if I play other competitive games with my real life friends, where they're not actually focusing too much on the improvement step themselves, they just mindlessly play. And I think even though I play a lot less than them, I usually tend to improve a little faster. So I think the key difference that I see is that they don't actually think, okay, hey, maybe my crosshair placement or something is shit, or I should just focus on improving my aim right now. I need to shoot some bots in the shooting range or whatever. But instead, they just keep playing competitive games, not really thinking about also what they did wrong, etc., and what they could work on. And I think this is one of the things that holds a lot of people back. So yeah, that's basically what the series should be about. And we actually have a ZVZ here against Trifax, or Trifax. I'm not exactly sure how he wants his name to be pronounced. This is actually one of the maps where you can take a fast gold base, and I think it's quite strong to do so. But our opponent didn't do it, and we didn't do it either, so we have a more normal game here. But this is great for us. Oh, I misclicked here. You always want to trade on your side of the map if possible. And the reason for it is that it makes it way harder for him to scout anything. Like right now his links are low HP, so he can't really scout, while our links are full HP. Even though we lost a link more than him, I prefer this situation overall for us. Didn't have this hotkey properly. So what we're gonna do here, this is a pretty large map, is we're gonna pressure a little bit, just to keep our opponent honest. Very often if you play against someone that is maybe an underdog against you, they'll either all in ZVZ or be extremely greedy. So if you do a pressure, it's good against both. Because you automatically have units against an all-in, obviously. This pressure should really do absolutely nothing because he skipped 2 banelings for 2 drones. It's not worth it for him. He has no units here. That's exactly what I was talking about. I think he was going Muta here. So usually they either all in or they play very greedy. In this case, it was obviously a little more greedy. To be honest, without the supply block, there's a decent chance he could have had it because he actually didn't invest in Aspire. He didn't invest into an upgrade yet. He had a good setup, only 2 gas against the pressure. Like against an all-in, he would for sure be dead with 60 drones after you lose a bunch of links like that. But considering his setup, I think it was good for him. Because we only did a slight pressure with more drones ourselves as well. So I think without the supply block, he actually would have been ahead and we would have had a very interesting game. Either way, let's get into the next one. Alright, our second game of the day is against a Protoss player on side Delta. And for now, I'll continue to try out the Lurker, trying to make the Lurker work. My win rate with the Lurker is significantly lower as it is with the other unit compositions, so I'm trying to get better at it. Because usually one of my strengths as a player is that I can play literally every style there is from Zerg, but I really don't feel like my Lurker style is remotely close to my level. Like I feel like if I played with my off-race against myself, with my Protoss against my Zerg going Lurkers, I would win more than 50% of the games with my own off-race against myself going Lurkers. Which means I am doing something definitely wrong and I need to improve with that. That is not part yet of the series where we're going to try to improve one skill at a time. For now, I'll just play for a week to calibrate the MMR more or less, to then have a starting point from which we're gonna start the show, and then we'll compare at the end of the show after we try to refine our skills, let's say. I think we're gonna write down 6 things that I think I should improve at, and we'll try to do them one by one, and at the end, for 1 or 2 weeks, I'll play more focused, and we'll see where our MMR is compared to where we started at. That's my plan for the show, at least. And yeah. So for now, you could say I'm focusing on trying to speak a lot because I'm not quite used to that. A little bit difficult for me still. And I also need to rename this account because this will be the only account that I'm only playing you for this show on my account. So you guys, if you guys have any good idea of how to rename the account, maybe I'll call it SkillCraft if I actually end up calling the show that. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, you guys can let me know in the comments below what you want me to name this account. Alright. We're playing as a Protoss who is chrono boosting their first unit. I don't think that is researching, right? Now it's researching. Okay, you can see the difference if you look at it consistently. It's not a warp gate research right away. It's likely that it's not glaives because of it. You can also delay the warp gate and then go for like a fake Stargate glaives build, but those hit significantly weaker than the normal ones. So nothing to be afraid of there. I mean, the moment you don't see an Oracle, within the first 4 minutes you get a Roachhorn and it'll be on time. Okay. No need to engage her with the Zerglings. He has to shade out. There's a second Adept, so we go into his base. It's an Oracle. Pretty much like predicted. Let's make a couple of extra Zerglings because I don't have vision anymore on if his Adepts are at home or not. So we're getting a couple of extra Zerglings just in case there's a 2 Adept run by. Eyes on the minimap always in this early game phase to mirror the movement of the Oracle properly. Oops, was not meant to lose that one. Let's get a Roachborn. We didn't see a second Oracle yet. Just as I say that, we actually do end up seeing it. So the Roachborn won't be bad or anything. We gotta make sure to not lose drones transferring as well at this point. And usually when I take the fort base wherever the Oracles are, so in this case that's right here. We'll try going with missile. We're now scouting. Okay, there's no depths at his side, so they're over here. Get ready for the Oracles. Usually they come at the same time. At this point we want to scout what he's up to. Scout for gases. Okay, we can make a lot of drones at this point. We can go up to a very high worker count. The most aggressive thing, or the scariest aggressive thing you can do right now would be charge on the icon attack. With roaches you can hold that with an insane amount of drones. So not really anything to worry about. Let's go out with an overseer. Pull the overlords a little bit more forward to where you think the Zealotron base are going to come from later. Even if they're slow overlords, it doesn't really matter. Okay, he's gonna take the next base. Check for air upgrade on the way.
Our forces are under attack.
There is the icon push.
Our forces are under attack.
That we talked about, or icon pressure rather. Don't think this is a very committed push at all. Zerglings can be on the other side of the map. They're not super useful or necessary even for holding this push.
Mutation complete. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are
No storm on the way yet. That's good for us. Getting cancels there on the static defense. So that's kind of nice.
unacceptable.
We're gonna go for one run by, I think. We want to be at exactly 88 workers. Fully saturated. Okay, this is enough Hydras. And I'm gonna try to move across the map with my queens as well. Like this is a 5th. This moves a little bit further over here. Still no storm. It's great news for us. I want the range upgrade at this point for the lurkers. We see that
Our forces are under attack.
Dark Shrine, of course.
Mineral field depleted. Our forces are under attack. Mineral field depleted.
And we'll start sieging up his base with a lurker concave. And the queens is anti-air.
Our forces are under attack.
Let's attack here at the same time. Whoop. Never mind, we'll use that as a defense mechanism.
Our forces are under attack.
Make sure to not accidentally walk on creep.
Mineral field depleted. Mutation complete.
Preferably your lurkers should be positioned in a way where your opponent can hit a maximum amount of 2 lurkers per disruptor volley. Oh.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Metamorphosis complete.
We got some Vipers now.
The hive cluster is under attack.
Just in case he's going for a Sky Toss, let's check.
Are under attack. Unacceptable command. Our forces are under attack.
He is, in fact, going for a Sky Toss, so let's put all our queens.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Complete.
A couple extra overseers because... by the way, we're gonna prioritize targeting disruptors at this point. Once we deal with the ground is always the scariest. Once you deal with the ground, you can deal with the carriers fairly easily. GG is called, and I mean, obviously in this game there was a little bit of a skill difference, but you can see the general game plan came to fruition. I think the skill difference here was a little bit too high in order to really learn a lot from it. I think usually the best case scenario, if you want to improve, is trying to play someone that you perceive as a challenge. So someone that you think is not impossible to beat, but is very difficult to beat. That usually helps with focus. It's very difficult for me, for example, to stay focused whenever you have a task that you perceive as being very easy, rather than when I play against, let's say, if I play against a clam or something, in a custom game, I tend to play better than if I was gonna play a 5k Terran, where in my mind, I'm sure I will win. So here I had the feeling during the game, like when I killed the Oracles for free, when I started getting the War Prism, that okay, this is not gonna be the hardest game, but you can still try to learn from it. So one thing that I noticed that we can definitely do better is making sure that we have this fortified, the 5th base fortification, because I was forced to pull all my roaches back. That was a little bit bad, so let's try to make sure to understand the map, right? This is a new map. Where can the zealots run in? I need an overlord here, and I need an overlord here, and that should cover everything, right? So that's relatively simple, in a way where I can prepare early on, before the zealots even arrive at my base, in a time frame where I didn't add static defense yet. Now with this style, you actually have a lot of excess minerals, because you don't really use links that much, since you don't have upgrades for them. Which means I should put spines there the moment I start the hatchery, and until the spines are there, I should defend that base with the roaches like I did here, but I added spines too late. So that's one thing that we can take away from this game. that will make this maybe a little bit better. Now, I'm not sure if I forgot the Lurker Burrow upgrade, but I honestly feel like it is almost useless at this point. You should still get it because it's cheap. And they do burrow faster, but it doesn't feel that fast anymore, so you should definitely prioritize the other upgrade, but I forgot it, so that's another mistake that we can definitely fix. I also think my Spire was a little bit too late and my Scout here. I mean, I scouted before the first carrier was out, but he already could have tagged 2 carriers without me knowing, and then my extra queens would have arrived a little bit too late. I wouldn't necessarily have needed to kill him anyways, because we were heavily outmining him, almost doubling his base count at this point, but the point still stands. We're still looking for improvements, even though this game was relatively easy. Now let's take a look at how I microed this, because I wasn't quite happy with this. I think I should have... It was a little bit harder because I had the queens here, but I should have tried to select only these lurkers to get the perfect concave. I shouldn't have unborrowed all of them at the same time. I think that was a bad move. And then I also let one disruptor go off, which was also bad. This disruptor, I mismicroed it. So at this point, when I'm here, I see he's far enough away. I should box like this, press unborrow. I always press unborrow. The actual button for me is also going back in the replay. So I press unborrow, and then just move the lurkers forward that are a little bit further in the back. Instead, I unborrowed everything and then split here, so this wasn't actually a perfect concave. Preferably, you would want a line of lurkers. So all of these lurkers, to just be one by one by one in a perfect line, which was just not the case. And then the abduct wasn't entirely perfect either. As I said, you should focus on abducting the disruptors at first. I should have the queens on hold position on creep, very important. I also should focus a little bit more on spreading the creep forward, because the queens with transfusions are actually very useful against unupgraded or poorly upgraded carriers. The queens having +2 attack and +1 carapace against just its 1/0 carriers. They're actually quite useful, so I should focus on just abducting the disruptors, letting the queens stay here, let the other units tank, and then once the carriers run too far forward, I abduct them one by one like this into the queens. I think that's the way I'm supposed to micro this. Maybe could have had a run by there at the same time. I also tend to remax on too many Hydras. I need to fix that. In this case, it was on purpose because I was about to win the game. Hydras is the fastest building unit that actually finishes the game here for me, but it's another thing that I noticed whenever I play Lurker. So yeah, just the things like this. I'm walking you through my thought process, even in a game like this where it felt very dominating, right? We had half his resources lost, and at no point were we under any pressure to lose the game. You can still get some food for thought out of those games. So either way, let's get into the third game. All right, so we're back with the third game. This time against the Protoss barcode that I think was about 5.7k MMR. So we'll try to, once again, even though this is slightly below my level, we're not really gonna try to think too much about it, and try to just focus on playing to the best of our ability mechanically and strategically. Is gateway scouting, playing it very safe. We are gonna once again try to make lurkers work. In the future, I will play different side pretty much every game, but as I said before, this week we're gonna try to make the lurker mainstay in my strategic repertoire. Because right now it's, yeah, the lurker is just there to be there, and against players where I know they play some weird Colossus styles, because that's what the lurker was good against. At this point, it's actually harder, even against those Colossus styles, to go lurker, but because of that, I want to improve at playing the lurker, because against those Colossus styles, you want to have something safe and solid to play against. So we're not really changing up anything in the early game. Our opponent also is playing very standard. Delayed chrono boost. Orb Gate right away could be a Glaive Spirit. In that case, obviously, we would have a different game. Or we're gonna run by at this point. No, we can't. He actually stayed at home. Should have waited a little longer with hitting that prop. I could have gotten it if I had gotten more on top of it before he realized. Put this here to patrol. This is, I think, the most likely spot where an Oracle would leave our opponent's base.
Metamorphosis complete.
At this point, we start Roachborn. The Darlings off a little bit. And we respond basically to what we see. There's a double warpen. Doesn't mean yet that that is glaives. We definitely do not want to make a spore color though before we see the oracles. He's trying to deny the scouting. We'll make 2 spores at this point because it could be DTs as well. 3 more adapts, looks like glaives, right? Maybe it's still a double oracle with 3 gate or something. I did not see the warpism, but he cleared the pathway for it. I think it is actually an oracle. Or double oracle, hidden rather. Oh no, it's not. That's very late though. We'll get an extra spore for DT safety. We want the queens at the front to make sure nothing can get in here. And the fast links.
A creep tumor is under attack.
We put somewhere else. There's sentry, so it's not a phoenix or something weird as a follow-up. It's very important that you don't underdrone against these types of builds. Once again, our game plan is to go lurkers. We're gonna make an overseer over here. We get rid of this pesky observer. We're gonna split the overlords to where we think the zealot runbys are gonna come from and the war prism. He's scouting. We get the 5th base. Now I feel very safe at this point. what makes me feel very safe is because I think we're already ahead. I got a lot of units. If there was an early attack coming, it already would have appeared. It would be basically too late at this point. Okay, here comes the Colossus. So since he has Colossus, that means... Well, first of all, he doesn't have that many other units. We're gonna try to come from behind. Oh, very interesting.
Mineral field depleted.
We got 2 Vipers at this point. I don't think we need to be overly aggressive.
Tumor is under attack. Mineral field depleted.
He's probably gonna engage in towards our side of the map. We just play it defensively proper.
A twin tumor is under attack. Our forces are under attack. The hive cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack. Mineral field depleted. Mutation. The hive cluster is under attack.
Oh, I hit the wrong thing here. More static defense because we have the money for it. Okay, scout the transition. Fantastic. Now we'll go for a run by. We can go a little bit lower in the worker counts as well.
Mineral field depleted.
We'll expand over here because we need more gas. And we'll move our static defense forward.
Our forces are under attack.
This is mostly the distraction this knight is right here. So we can get in position. On the other side, he's completely ignored it.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Oh, juicy hits there.
Unacceptable command. Our forces are under attack.
Storm actually is very good against lurkers.
A twin
It always surprises me a little bit.
mineral field dip. Our forces are under attack. Mineral field dip. Mutation. Our forces are under attack. The hive cluster is under attack. Complete.
That's why we make the static defense very important here. I don't think we had all of our lurkers together, and that was a mistake over here.
Our forces are under attack.
At this point, he's once again completely out of position, so we'll try to
Is under attack.
borrow our stuff right here.
Mineral. Our
reposition a little bit here so we don't need all the extra storm damage.
Our forces are under attack.
And that's GG. Once again, it's very important, like, to set yourself goals. If you think you're the big favorite, to still, I think it's one of the tips that I can give for getting more high quality practice. I think having like 1 hour of high quality practice is much better than mindlessly queuing for 5 hours. So the way to get this type of high quality practice is to either play like custom games against players that are a little bit better than you or same level at the very least, and whenever you get an opponent that is a little bit worse than you try to set yourself goals. So for me, that goal is, okay, you need to trade cost effectively, which is not that easy for Zerg to do, and to not make, you know, obvious mechanical errors. Like, you can set yourself whatever goal. You can be like, okay, in this game, since I'm already the favorite, I'm gonna try to play this style that I'm not good at, which Lurker for me is one of those. Can be something else for you. Or if you're a Zerg who always tries to play mid-game oriented and or all-ins, and you're the heavy favorite, you can go like, okay, I'm gonna try to play late game this game, you know, for an extra challenge when you think you're the favorite. I think that's one of the things that helped me a little bit at improving. When the European ladder was pretty dead, and I played mostly against players that were like 800, 900 MMR below me. For example, whenever I would play against Terrans, I would let them kill like 10 drones every single game at my third base with their Hellions. Like, I would just not respond on purpose. I would just have Lings there and not do anything, so the game becomes a little bit more stressful for me. And I think that kind of stuff, yeah, has helped me a little bit. You can also just try your best and play the same strategy every game, and you know, in order to get higher MMR, you don't have to do this, but that's just one of the things for the people that really want to improve, because improvement is not always just the MMR. Sometimes if you want to improve, the MMR will eventually follow when your skill rises. But yeah, this series is about basically getting better over time. There's no right or wrong way to get better, but this is the one that I recommend. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll be back in the next one. Once again, let me know what you think I should name the show. Should it be SkillCraft? Mastering skills one at a time. How should I call it? SkillCraft. Mastering skills one by one, maybe. Or focus on fundamentals with Lambo. Or I saw a suggestion which was Lambo's Leather Adventures, but that doesn't really have the one thing in it which I do want to have in it, where, I mean, it's supposed to be a series that is aimed at improving your skills one at a time. I actually Googled for a word because I didn't know if it existed. It's called ameliorative, if I even pronounced that correctly. So something that is aimed at improvement, pretty much. Never heard that word before. I'll probably forget about it after today as well. But if it was a nicer, especially shorter word that also other people would know, I would have maybe put it in the title. Anyway, long story short, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time, and bye-bye.